Hi and welcome to my channel. Nice to have you here. My name is Matthias and today we're going to be looking at some of my experiences that I was able to collect using the DJI Osmo Mobile 2. Coming up. A little while ago, when I received the Osmo Mobile 2 for the first time, I published a little video about my first impressions of the device. If you haven't seen that one, feel free to check it out. I'll link it up here somewhere so you can do that. Now, I've had the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 for about 3 months now, and I was able to test it in various situations, in particular during a recent trip to Vietnam, where I was filming most of the content there using my iPhone 7 and the DJI Osmo Mobile 2. Now, in this video today, I want to tell you about some of my experiences that I've had using this device and whether I think it is a useful piece of technology for you to use for your travel videos or your video productions in general. First off, I'd like to say that the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 is a very well-built gimbal. It does look a little bit plasticky when you first pick it up and hold it in your hand, but I can tell you I've put it through quite a few torches on my trip to Vietnam, being in my gear bag, having been thrown around and stuff, and it handles it very, very well. Now, DJI supplies a free app, the DJI Go app, to be used with this gimbal, and I have to say that this app is very intuitive to use and is packed with a lot of features that will help you get the most out of this gimbal and the best looking results for your footage. Some of my favorite features on the app are the tracking function, which allows you to track a person or a face by just drawing a little square around whatever object you want to follow, and that can be used if you're placing your gimbal stationary and it will actually follow you walking around, but as well you can use it to follow someone and that way keeping that person or that object in the center of your frame, and that makes it very, very easy. Another application for the tracking function is if you want to do like a forward moving shot and you have something in the distance that you want to keep in the center of your frame, you can use the tracking function to select that object, like a large building in the background, for example, and as you move closer to that object, the software will make sure that the phone or that the picture basically stays nicely centered. So you're not getting this left and right motion on your picture as you're moving forwards or backwards with your gimbal. Another feature that I like a lot in the DJI Go app is all the different time-lapse functions that you've got in there. On the previous video I mentioned before, I talked a little bit more about the different options that you have with time lapses, your normal time lapse, your motion time lapse, all that sort of stuff. They are a great creative way of creating time lapses, and you should definitely check them out and utilize that possibility or that opportunity that you have for some really dramatic shots that way. Now, there's also a few things that I don't like about the app, I have to say. One being that once you've recorded the footage with the app, it is then inside the app. If you do want to have it on your phone, you will actually have to manually select the clips and download them onto your phone, so that from there you can then put it onto your computer and or post it from there, whatever you want to do with the clips, but that has to be done manually. They don't automatically transfer onto your phone's camera roll. All in all, this gimbal is really easy to use. It's set up within like a minute, literally, and ready to go, which is fantastic. It's fairly small and compact, which is good. I would like though to be able to disconnect like the handle from the gimbal itself, or have like a fold-in function for the gimbal so that you could actually put it in a pocket. Because even though it is fairly small and compact, it is still kind of too big to be put in my pocket as I'm walking around. So I do have to have it either in my hand or like in a gear bag that I'm carrying with me. So DJI, that's a suggestion for a next gimbal, for a next generation. Maybe think about integrating some sort of a fold-in function or a disconnect function so that you can keep it even smaller and more mobile. Generally speaking, the Osmo Mobile 2 gives you fantastic smooth footage by just using your cell phone on it. And it doesn't have to be an iPhone, it can be any smartphone. They will all fit onto the Osmo Mobile 2, and they will make it very easy for you to capture fantastic looking smooth footage on the go with minimal equipment required. I did encounter a couple of problems though, or basically one major problem, which is that every now and then, for I don't know what reason, I would be thrown out of the app. It would just crash on me and I'd have to restart the app again to be able to continue filming. It didn't happen a lot, but I would say maybe 1 out of 10 or 15 times that I was filming, this would happen. It's not a big deal, but it's worth knowing about this possibility of the software, the app, crashing on you. Another great thing about the Osmo Mobile 2 is its fantastic battery life. Now, on my trip to Vietnam, I've spent many days filming the entire day with the Osmo Mobile 2, and they say by DJI that the battery will last for about 15 hours, and I can confirm this, that I've never come to a point where the battery has run out on me on the Osmo Mobile 2. And as I said, I've been filming for several days in a row. Of course, I did recharge the Osmo Mobile 2 at night, but that was no problem at all, just putting it on charge over the night, and then I have plenty of battery life for the coming day. Talking about battery life, I did encounter another problem though, and that was my phone, because the Mobile 2, there was no problem with the battery lasting for an entire day, but shooting on my iPhone 7, I did run into the problem that after about 2 hours of continuous shooting, my iPhone, the battery on my iPhone would have been drained. So I would have to stop filming, I would have to plug in my iPhone to like a power bank, recharge it for a little bit, and then continue filming again. Now you can kind of avoid this by having a power bank with you, and just whenever you're not filming with the phone, like in between shots, just put it on charge and make sure that you keep your battery on your iPhone as high as possible throughout the shooting day, so you won't run into the problem of a drained battery. Alternatively, the Osmo Mobile 2 also offers a charging option for your phone straight from the device. So you can actually, and I've tried this, you can actually, while you're filming, while you've got your phone on there and the Osmo Mobile working, you can simultaneously charge the battery on your phone. It does work, it does look a bit not quite ideal because you've got that cable hanging off there and it might get caught somewhere, but it certainly works. I've tried it out, and that way you can make sure that your battery doesn't drain, and you don't really have to be afraid that you're draining the battery of the Osmo Mobile 2, because as I said before, it's plenty to go for an entire day of shooting without having to worry about recharging the battery. Now let's talk about the quality of the footage for a moment that you can get out of using the Osmo Mobile 2. Obviously, the gimbal is not responsible for the quality of the footage. It will give you smooth and nice looking footage, yes, and it does that very well, but the quality of the footage itself will depend on whatever cell phone or whatever camera you're using on that gimbal. Now, I was quite surprised to see that my iPhone 7 produced some really good looking footage, very nice quality, as long as I was shooting in good conditions, meaning that there was plenty of ambient light around me, or artificial light for that matter, but plenty of light. In that case, the phone, the iPhone 7, produces some really good looking footage. As soon as I start going inside and I'm shooting in darker environments, it does have issues. And that's obvious because the sensor on the iPhone 7 is fairly small compared to other cameras or compared to proper cameras. And therefore, as soon as you're shooting in low light condition, you will get quite a bit of noise introduced into your picture and it won't look as good anymore. There is not as much dynamic range as on a larger sensor camera, obviously. So if you're shooting in very bright conditions as well, it's going to be difficult to capture, the brightest spots and the darkest spots of your framing. And that's something also to be considered when you're shooting in bright daylight, like in the middle of the day, or if you're shooting against the sun. You won't really get some nice flares in your picture there, but that's just something that we cannot avoid using a small sensor camera like we get it on our phones. Altogether though, I think that the combination of, let's say, an iPhone 7 or any other phone with a decent camera and the Osmo Mobile 2 is a great combination which will give you nice cinematic looking footage, as I said, as long as you do shoot in good conditions. And if you're a travel filmmaker and you're filming most of the time outside in good conditions, you will get some really decent results out of this combination. I'm sure of it. So to sum this little video up, I am quite confident to say that for $129 for the Osmo Mobile 2, this is literally a no-brainer. You're getting a really nice device that you can use in several ways to get some really cool looking footage, to get some cinematic footage by just using your cell phone without having to go out and buy very expensive camera equipment to be able to get some stunning shots. But you need to know where the limitations are, and you need to be sure not to expect more than what this combination of a cell phone and the gimbal can provide to you. Feel free to check out my playlist with my videos that I've put together from my Vietnam trip. There's about 80 to 85% of all the footage that is inside these videos has been captured with my iPhone 7 and the Osmo Mobile 2. The rest has been captured with the drone, with my DJI Mavic Pro, and some shots have been captured with my GH5, my Panasonic GH5. But it's gonna give you a very good overview of what you're capable of doing with the gimbal and what kind of shots you're able to get using the Osmo Mobile 2 compared to just use your phone or any other camera really handheld. Now I hope this video was helpful to you guys. I hope you got some information, some helpful tips out of this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more travel and gear related content in the future. If you're thinking about getting yourself a Osmo Mobile 2, please consider using the affiliate link that I'm going to be putting down in the description. If you use this link, it's not going to cost you any more, but it will put a little bit of money back into my pocket and will enable me to continue making these videos for you guys, and I would appreciate that a lot. So that's it from me for today, guys. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching this video all the way to the end. If you do have any questions regarding the Osmo Mobile 2, please feel free to put them down in the comment section and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.